So for today's topic, hi everybody. Today's topic, we're gonna look at Tailscale. So last time we talked a little bit about zero tier and how it works, and Tailscale is very similar in many ways, but one of the differences is the underlying technology. Tailscale uses the Wireguard. So if you ever played around with Wireguard, you know it can be a little bit cumbersome to configure and to get to work and all that, right? So Tailscale uses all the advantages of WireGuard and makes it very, very easy to use, right? So aside from that, I mean, what is Tailscale? Same applies, right? They call it's a VPN service that makes the devices and the application you own accessible anywhere in the world. So as you see, it enables encrypted point-to-point connection using the open source WireGuard protocol. There's still the same approach wherein there's a connection or a command server which orchestrates all the connectivity, but in the ideal case, all connectivity is point-to-point. So a few other things to maybe think about it, right? So, um, like with anything else, if you use another VPN as alongside with Tailscale, there probably will be issues because these usual traditional VPNs like CyberGhost or whatever usually set up firewall rules in a way where all traffic is routed particularly through that VPN. That might be a problem. There's always a way to configure around it, but it might not always be that easy. Obviously, decryption is always a question. So same as with zero tier no, they do not they only exchange the public keys when you install their application or their mobile apps on your devices. The private keys never leave the device, and the traffic is always end-to-end encrypted at any time. Um, Maybe something else to look a little bit at is when the connection server, okay, so they call it the coordination server, right? So you would always think, okay, so what if their infrastructure goes down? Can I still connect? And what's the issue? So if the coordination server is down, there will still be, like here, Tailscale does not route any traffic through the coordination server. It makes the best effort to create a direct connection, right? If the coordination server is down, should it happen, which I have not seen happening yet. But if it is down, these are the things that you cannot do anymore. You cannot add any users or devices, new additional ones. You cannot refresh your keys and exchange them. So gradually the devices will lose access to each other. However, that will take some time. So let's hope it will not be down for that long. You cannot update your firewall rules, and existing users cannot have the keys revoked. So this is basically what would not work in that case, right? Maybe another one to just really quickly look at what is Tailscale. I think we saw that already. Yeah. So uh, who's it for? It's for anybody, actually. It can be for small business owners who want to maintain access to multiple devices in multiple locations but can't afford the pricey solutions that other vendors offer for VPN gateways or whatever. Developers for testing. Enterprises even can reduce the security risk, right? So you completely take out the complexity. That's the beauty of it, right? You take out the complexity for management, the overhead for management, the learning curve is not as steep, and so on and so on. And it's reasonably priced for the commercial approaches. Let's have a look at that real quick. So very similar pricing model actually to zero tier, right? So you see the personal is free, one user, 20 devices, one subnet router, secure P2P connections, of course. SSO and MFA. SSO, they offer a couple of providers out of the box. If you go for one of the paid plans, you can add additional ones of that. And some interesting stuff, MagicDNS. MagicDNS automatically registered DNS names for devices on the network, making it even easier for you. So I'll show you that real quick later. It's very simple to set it up as well and very useful because who can really remember all those IP addresses, right? Then team, $5 per user. It's the basic one. Business, that's already a bit more. As you can see, 10 devices per number of 10 devices times number of users and so on. And then there's always the custom one. Yeah, custom one is for IoT stuff like that. Just contact them for the pricing. It's actually also still very reasonable, right? Having said this, WireGuard, I think I don't need to explain what it is. I put the links in the description later of the video, so don't worry about that. But basically, that's the underlying technology that they use to encrypt all the communications, right? And that is pretty much it. So the next step would be, I already logged in here. I'm logged in here with my GitHub account. So there's, maybe I can show you this real quick. What's the options? Let me just start. Okay, I'll show you it later. But basically, there's GitHub, there's Azure AD, there's Google, there's a couple of identity providers that you can use to sign up. Fairly easy. It's a one-click sign up, and nothing need to be configured aside from that. So I think let's start. Let's start with the first one. I'm logged in here, ready to a Linux machine, right? So as you can see, that's a Azure VM, and we're gonna click here to Linux, and you can see very simple, straightforward, similar to zero tier, basically. So you just have to copy this command, which will just curl the install script, get the install script on your Linux box, and then just run it. Uh, paste it. So you pipe it over to the shell command, and then you just run the installer, right? So let's just have a look at this real quick, right? So basically, we just paste the command that we just copied, the curl command, right? That's pretty much it. We're gonna hit enter here. We'll get the install script, and then we'll execute the install script, which will then do everything else. So as you can see, done. We just have to run this one, and now we would have to basically copy this URL to log in. Go back here. Uh, and sorry, wrong one. I'm just gonna sign in here with GitHub. Uh, Authorize the application. That's it. Authorization is successful. We go back to our terminal window, and as you can already see, successfully authenticated. And that's it. And if you go back here now and check out, we can see the first box is already here. So this is the first one now. So we have started with one. Now we will do the same. We'll do the same for Windows, right? So we're gonna copy this one, and we go to our prepared Windows 11 VM. We're gonna just resume this one real quick. Shouldn't take too long. Make it a little bigger. Give it a few seconds. There we go. There we are. We enter our PIN. We go open up a browser here. Of course, didn't copy that really. So go back to the browser. Copy this one. Go back here. Hit enter. Download for Windows. This is usually really fast, as you can see. Doesn't take too long. Once you have downloaded it, we go ahead and install the application. Allow it to be installed. Just say install. There you go, sorry. This one we can close. That was one too many. So just wait for this to be completed. It's completed. Say close. Should be able to start this up now. Tailscale, open the app. We'll have to authenticate. Same story. Now I'll just enter my credentials here real quick. Give me a second. And we are done with the authorization. So what we should see here now, when we go back to our portal, there we go. We see the second machine. Uh, it's not yet online. It will take a couple of seconds. It will come online, and we can then communicate between the two. Let's just go back here to the Windows VM again and open the app. After this, so it's running. We can see here it's connected. We can open the admin console here. See the machines here as well, and as you can see, both are now connected. So now we can say this is our Linux machine, this is our desktop. Let's just copy this one. Let's open a Windows terminal or PowerShell, actually, whatever. Try ping, and as you can see, you can reach it via this address. So this is the first two nodes that we have added now. Now let's go back a little bit and explore here more. So as you can see, we have two connected machines here now on the on the portal, right? So it works, and then now we could, for example, say set up our DNS if we wanted to, right? Go back here and say get started again. Sorry for this. It's a little bit different now, the user interface. So we are back here on this window now. Services. Uh, you see you could enable services, but this is in alpha mode as you see, so let's stay out of this. Users, obviously, only mine. So for now, there's only mine. I could now invite the team and I could now say, okay, give access to whoever as the admin or whatever. Access controls have nothing configured yet, so that's the standard, but you can do quite a lot of configuration here. Here's the interesting part, right? So MagicDNS, right? So to enable MagicDNS, we gotta add a global name server. Let's say we add a name server here. Let's just use Google for the sake of this. I mean, you could use any one that you like and say save it, and then you can enable MagicDNS. So now we would say, okay, this is our MagicDNS, right? And all the stuff that we can configure within here. So let's go back to settings here. Key expiry, we have not changed anything here. That's 180 days, probably a good idea. We can make it shorter if you like, but whatever. Manually authorize new devices. We approve by admins that you can do it as well. Uh, Identity provider for us, as we have used GitHub, so that's GitHub here. But you can change that if you want, and you can contact the support to do that for you. Back on the DNS page, maybe what we could do now is okay. Let's go back to that later. I will first add another device. I'll add an Android device, and after that I will add a macOS device and a iOS device. So we complete all the device types that you could possibly have. Let's switch over to the Android device for now. So you show you this for Android. I just simply uh, fire up the DeX to connect my Android device here to the laptop. Let's just search for the Tailscale up in here. So you can see already Tailscale, that's the one. You just install this. This shouldn't take long usually. So once this is installed, I just open it up, get started. So obviously we'll choose the same one as we have connected previously. I choose GitHub for this one. And again, we will have to, let's make this bigger. We will have to enter our username and password here. So we'll just go ahead and do that. and we authorize Tailscale, and you will be relook. There we go, connection request, you allow that one, and that's it. So it will disconnect now. Let me just reconnect to text real quick. Give me a second. And you may have noticed there's some issue with text. When I start Tailscale up in the phone, it will disconnect from text. So I'm just casting it now via the native your phone up on Windows 11. So as you can see, it's run, it's active. It shows here that's the B here. This is the other two devices that we have, right? And we go back here, click the machines, and you can see third device connected as well. Um, at this point, let's look a little bit more on what information can we see here, right? So we see all this info. We see the relays which is currently connected. It usually uses the ones that is the fastest, right? We see the domain. So this is the one when we go back here to DNS. This is the MagicDNS domain, and every device will just get a domain name as the device name. And if you go back here to the machines, you can see, for example, SIG, that would be the machine name. And if I would go back now here to my Windows machine, let's bring this up real quick. Say PowerShell or whatever, that will do. And we ping SIG, it should resolve or not. That's the show effect. Let me try this real quick with a command prompt. It'll make a difference, but who knows? Oh, there you go, makes a difference. So as you can see, it resolves to the fully qualified MagicDNS domain name with the correct IP, .122. To connect back here, we look back here. That's the one that we have assigned here. So as you can see, so this is how it works. Basically, now we see all those three devices. We see this is Android, this is Linux, this is Windows. They're all connected, they're all good. We can see that all this information, and I'm gonna show the same approach now for macOS and for iOS, and that will be pretty much it for the day. Then we max out the 5 devices. Actually, we if you look at it here, we max out the 5 different devices already that we can put up here. So with this, let's go over to macOS. Yeah, okay. So as promised, uh, doing the same thing now on the Mac. So basically the logic is the same, obviously, right? So there's not much difference here, but I just wanted to show the different procedures anyway. So if we go to download, right, we'll see the different options here. It already recognizes that we are running a macOS. So this one is running Monterey, the latest. Just follow the simple steps, right? It's really very simple. Download and open the Tailscale macOS app. Accept any prompts to install the VPN configuration that may appear. Log in, and it will prompt you to the login provider, and then that's it. Yeah. So basically, download. We'll do this here. We're gonna open the App Store. We're gonna get the app, install the app. We allow it. It will be fairly quick again, as you can see. After this, we're gonna just say open and follow the steps, right? We wanna say to manually start it for this case. We will say allow, as was mentioned, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. So restart required. We have to restart the app. So basically, that's what it will do automatically when we do this. Say login. Okay, let me just check on this real quick. There you go. There we go. All good. So we're just gonna sign in with the GitHub account, the same one as we used for all, and it will authorize and go back, and it already recognizes that it's online, as you can see here. So it's connected. It has an IP, and we can see here in the machines that we have a new machine. It's called SUS, and as you can see, macOS. That's it. It's as simple as that. And now, if we would open the terminal and would choose to, um, that's not really great, right? Let me see if I can make this a little bigger. I just will make do of the terminal, just make the font a little bigger, right? I hope this is big enough to see. We can go back here. Let's go back to the machines. Let's choose the Linux box again. We just copy that IP, and then we can able to ping this, and we will see. There we go. Works just fine. And this is pretty much it for the Mac. So I think the final one that I want to show you is basically on an iOS device. I'm just gonna cast my iPhone screen here and do the same on the iPhone. So just give me a little second. Yeah, while this is still running, we can close this down here. So I'm just gonna cast the iPhone screen here real quick. Should be able to see it now. Go to the App Store here, search and search for Tailscale up. There we go. We say get. And we say open. Get started. Like to add configurations, we say allow as this is required. We have to, sorry. There we go. And then we just have to go through the same authentication process, right? So we'll say continue. It will go to the login page. We'll have to choose GitHub as a authentication hub. We already have this saved here, so we're just gonna say use this. It will just go ahead. Give it a few seconds. Authorize. That's it. Allow. Done. So basically, now it's active. It has an IP, and I'm gonna stop the casting here now and go back to the device here. And as you can see, it pops up already. So yeah, that's as simple as it is on any device. So we have seen it now for macOS, for Linux, for Android, for iOS, and for Windows. And try it out, guys. It's really cool. It really helps a lot. For me, it's maybe even a better alternative to zero tier in many ways. So for the next time, I'm gonna show you the same for setting up an app within your home network, make it accessible publicly. I hope you have a nice weekend ahead and see you again in the next video. Take care, guys.